the legislature. The team created a bipartisan, unfettered environment for the Administrative Search Committee made up of ledge, citizens, department heads, and the Administrative Contract Committee to do and complete their work. Some of us may have stylistic differences with team members, but that does not change the facts. A great deal was accomplished. These significant accomplishments were supported by either 100% support of the full legislature or by a supermajority. It is important for us as legislators to appreciate and commend the tireless effort, significant sacrifice, and commitment the transition team has exemplified. Thank you, Ben, Aileen, Jim, and Keith.
Thank you. Thank you. So, are there any other reports or comments? Mr. Baxter?
Yes, I'd like to just say a little bit more on Aileen's report about the economic development grant money yesterday. I'm on the Soil and Water Board, so I'm real happy about what took place. Soil and Water applied for 4 grants, and they received 3 of them. It was just a touch over $1 million, and they'll be building retention basins and drainage controls, stream bank stabilizations. A lot of the grants are specifically for the south end of the county, which is pretty badly in need of it. So I would like to thank Soil and Water and the crew out there. And this is what they do with the money that we give them, because the money in our budget for them allows them to keep workers there that are able to accomplish this and get this money in our county. So,
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Any other reports? Okay. Chair report. Okay. First thing is, if you have a corporate compliance training document on your desk, you need to complete this and get it to Sheila. This has to be done every year by every public official, so be sure if you have one to complete it. I think there are 2, maybe 3 places to sign. I think there are 2 places to sign, 3 places where you fill in your name. So please cooperate by doing this. If everyone doesn't do it, we're not in compliance, and Sheila will track you down. So thank you. So I was going to spend some time in my report talking about some of the things we've done this year together, but there have been a number of developments in the last few weeks, and so I'm going to talk about those instead. I am going to be doing a written report at some point in the next few weeks that will distribute to everyone about covering the things we have done. But today I want to focus on some of the things, the CFA grants among others. So the first thing, though, is an FYI. When we went through the budget process, I shared that our tax cap would be somewhere above 2%, if you remember. And we put the budget together at 2%. We knew it would be higher than that. Well, those numbers are in now, and our actual tax cap is 2.7%. So we were successful due primarily to the work of the department heads. We were successful in doing a balanced, productive, operating the functional budget well below the tax cap. So I think, we've been applauding people. I think we should applaud the departments for that, because it's a significant accomplishment. Thank you. So we have some good news. Justin Woods is here tonight. He's been meeting with staff and legislators already. He officially begins Monday, the December 18th, at this coming Monday, but he's been at work and he's joining us here today. Our sales tax continues to up. I think Jim Orman takes credit for it when it goes up, and it's my fault when it goes down. So thank you, Jim. We're looking at this point around a 7% increase. That's about $1.4 million for the county. That's on track with what we thought it would be in the last several months. but it's great news. We won't know the final numbers, of course, for several months, but it's absolutely the good news for our budget. The CFA has been mentioned, and we did do very well. We have 30 projects that are exclusive to Cayuga County funded and 6 other projects that are shared between Cayuga, Cortland, or Onondaga, or other counties in the region. So that's excellent. We have more than $12 million in those specific projects, and they include, I'm not going to go through the full list, but some of the highlights are stormwater we've heard about, the Flats project we heard about. Also, though, our project at Emerson Park was funded, the Prison City expansion was funded, the sewer and water project at our industrial park was funded, the Courier Plastics project was funded, the Nature Conservancy we heard about, the Shine Theater project was funded, the Martin Company's food processing, the project was funded, and the Dumont soybean processing project was funded, among many others. There were 30 total, but these are some of the ones. So it was actually a very, very good day for Cayuga County. Now all we have to do is wait for the money to come through, which sometimes, is, as we all know, is a little bit of a wait, but we'll stay on top of that. And I also want to add congratulations to our planning department, to CETA, and to the other people that worked on these grants. This is where our money goes. You know, we all pay taxes, we have a budget, we CETA money to do things, we give our planning department money to do things, and this is the result. So we thank you, CETA, if you're here. If you're not, I spoke with Tracy earlier, and certainly Steve. Thank you very much. So I represented the county this week, yesterday, day before, I lose track of time, at the announcement, the Auburn Community Hospital's announcement of their strategic partnership with the St. Joseph's and University of Rochester Medical Center. I think I sent everyone the copy of that press release. That also bodes very well for the community. I won't go into the specifics of it because it's fairly involved, but you can read the press release, and if you have any questions, I would encourage you to let me know. If I can answer them, I will, or I'm sure the hospital will be happy to respond to any questions you may have. So these are all very good things. There are some bad things. The FEMA has denied the disaster declaration in the southern part of the county. That was based upon, as I understand it, the FEMA's decision to separate the rain events. We considered that one event, the 1-2 punch, the weekend of July 4th, and then within the next about 5-6 days, another event similar. And we considered that one event, as did the state. FEMA looked at it and said, no, these are 2 separate events, and you have to separate them, you don't meet the threshold. That's being appealed. I spent most of this morning speaking with the Senator Schumer's office and Representative Katko's office, some people from emergency management and other places to really begin to coordinate a response as we appeal that process. So it's not over, but not good news. That brings me to next year. One of the things we're going to have to do is advocate with FEMA for the project. As I mentioned, we've already begun discussions with some of our elected and appointed officials on how we need to go about that. And so whoever will be chair next year will need to pick that up, and I'll certainly will provide some briefing on that so that we don't drop that, because that's critically important. The damage for us is in Cayuga County is in the millions of dollars, and so it's really important that we get that FEMA assistance, which will pay up to 75% of the cost of repair. We also, as George mentioned, need to begin looking at the 2020 census and redistricting. This came up in government operations this month, and it's really time to delve into that. I think we need to appoint a committee in January, or at least begin the discussion in January, maybe appoint it in February. My suggestion is going to be that we have our 2 election commissioners, representatives from the southern part of the county, the northern part of the county, and the city, the chair of the legislature, and perhaps 1 or 2 non-affiliated people, all to be chaired by someone outside government who is known and respected generally. We, of course, may want that committee to look a little different than that, but the point is it's important in January to begin discussions about exactly how that should move forward, and then make the appointments in February so they can begin to work. A lot of work that was done a few years ago, as George mentioned, so we can build on that and and be prepared for the 2020 census, because it will take some time. The final thing that that is emerging now is the Cayuga Indian Nation. We've been at somewhat of a hiatus on that because of the issue of leadership. As we all know, there's been a conflict internal to the Cayuga Indian Nation regarding who are the actual leaders of that group. The BIA has made several decisions, and then it's been appealed and reversed and uncertain. But at this point, the BIA has made a final determination. They've gone through all their administrative processes, and they've determined that the Clint Halftown Group is the federal representative of the Cayuga Indian Nation for purposes of federal contracts and relationships. That is being litigated in federal court. However, there's been no stay of that decision. And so if the courts do not issue a stay, then that stands until the courts ultimately rule. And any ruling such as that is going to take, they seem to take forever. We're certainly not talking months. What the significance of that is this, is that it puts us in a position now of being able to look to a recognized authority for us to reinstitute or initiate discussions with the Cayugas and their relationship with the county vis-a-vis the property tax, sales tax, and operations. So that's another activity that needs to begin in 2018. So those are some of the things, certainly not everything, but some of the things that have been happening recently in the last couple of weeks. They're really good. At least one bad thing, and then some things that we need to look forward to in 2018. So with that, does anyone have any questions of me? Ryan?
Thank you for the update on the FEMA appeal. I contacted, just to add to your report, I contacted Neil from EMO just to say, how can we help out with that situation as a legislature? He said in addition to things we are already doing, we can also, as a body or as individual legislators, he found he thought it would be helpful if we contacted state and federal officials, CATCO, and just to try to get them on board, and also if we can explain how dire that is of a situation and how much that money could actually mean to us in assistance. So it's just another it's just another way we can help get involved and maybe push electeds in to the right direction to help us.
Yeah, I've been in discussion with, as I mentioned, I spent most of this morning doing just that, and we will be putting together a plan of exactly how to move forward, and the hope is to include all of the counties that are involved, as well as the governor's office, our state electeds and federal electeds. There's uniform support. We do not have to convince anyone in New York State that we need help. What we need to do is coordinate an effort so that we're focused toward FEMA to having an impact on them. But absolutely, you're absolutely correct. Thank you. Any other questions of me? Andy?
On the whole FEMA thing, is there a way, I think the reality is we've had 2 hurricanes, we've had hundreds of thousands of acres burn up in this country, so unfortunately, we don't care, we don't mean anything, is what it amounts to. So is there any way to get something from the state as opposed to the federal government?
Yeah, that's the issues that we'll pursue. The state legislature isn't in session right now, but one of the things we will pursue, and that's the reason to get everyone together, is to come up with a strategy, both federal and state level. The money we got, if you remember, for up north was through an, but the legislature actually passed FEMA. We still have